Welcome to Hoovie's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. And may I present to you my Lamborghini collection, which is absolutely ridiculous to say, but that's the situation I find myself in. Starting with my old faithful, my 2006 Lamborghini Murcielago that I've had for about a year now. And just recently, within the last couple of weeks, I picked up the other two Lamborghinis, a 1989 Countach and a 1997 Diablo VT. All three of these cars were the cheapest in the USA, and I haven't had any of them appraised. I've owned the Murcielago for a year, never had it appraised. And obviously I haven't with the other two because I've just gotten them, but it's very important when you have a collection like this to have it appraised by a professional, and I can't think of a better place to get values on these cars than taking them to Carmax. Actually, well, obviously I can think of a few better ways to get appraised values on cars like these, and I've reached out to a few people to get some other values, but Carmax, well, people love taking their exotics to Carmax, so why not three Lamborghinis at once? We'll get to that in a little bit, but first let me give you a tour of these Lamborghinis, what I think makes them special, what would be some downsides to detract from the value, and which ones I think are worth the most. So let's start with the one that's probably worth the cheapest, and the one that I've had the longest, my 2006 Lamborghini Murcielago Roadster. Now this is Orencio Atlas, the orange metallic, very, very pretty color. The interior is, well, equally orange and beige. Slightly less desirable, same with that E-Gear automated manual transmission, but I bought this really cheaply, $99,900 from Ed Bolian, but it showed up with a bad transmission, a bad clutch, and numerous other issues. Now, we did all these repairs using only Lamborghini factory approved methods, nothing else, no expense spared on this car, and finally, we had the front end all repainted to match because the bumper was slightly damaged. So a very nice example of a Murcielago, 18,000 miles, but still compared to the other two, it's a very expensive car, but compared to the other two, the cheapest one of the bunch. Now next to it is the car I think is probably in the middle, a 1997 Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster. Now I don't know this car very well yet because I just got it. I've had it only a few weeks, but it is a very, very nice, very rare example with only 12,000 original miles on it. Only 200 VT Roadsters in existence. The silver one kind of matches the one in the movie Exit Wounds with Steven Seagal. I think that one had a spoiler on it, but still the same color, same year. And look at this car, super sharp. The desirable gated manual transmission that all Diablos came with, and very, very nice inside. Only issues I know of is the horn honking intermittently when you turn the wheel, well, too many times, like you're doing lock-to-lock and parallel parking, it'll honk embarrassingly. You can see the center console has faded a little bit, that sticky plastic thing's happening there, and it's definitely needing some tires. They are ancient, maybe original, and they feel like concrete blocks. But other than that, it drives really well, surprisingly. Even with the tires, and like I said, is a very rare, very desirable Diablo that is shooting rapidly up in value. In recent years, these things have exploded in value, so I really have no idea where to put it in. I think it's in the middle, but the Countach is probably the most valuable car of the bunch. It is a 1989 Lamborghini Countach 25th anniversary edition, which is actually the most common of the Countaches. Around 600 of these out of 2,000 Countaches made total. The last few years of productions where they went really, really wild with the air inlets, making it look like a Testarossa, the spoilers, just a crazy wild car. But of the three, it is certainly in the best condition cosmetically. Only like 10,000 original miles on this car. Look at the interior, original, really nice. Paint, as far as I know, this pearl metallic is original. This is the genesis of the supercar, the poster car, a piece of Lamborghini history, and I can't believe I own it. I can't believe I really own all three, and it's possible only because you all watch my videos, so thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already. But I'm kind of curious what they're worth. So I decided to reach out to a few friends that are much better versed in the Lamborghini market than me. The first one was Ed Bolian, who worked at a Lamborghini dealer for a number of years, has bought and sold many Lamborghinis, and I was curious what he would offer on my cars, especially the one that he sold me if he wanted to buy it back. So I gave him a call to see what he would offer on my three cars, and well, this is what he said.
So you want me to number all three of them? Okay. Well, the Mercy, I mean, I figured I was going to put 20 or 30 grand into it, which would have put me right at what I sold it to you for. So I suppose I would give you all 99,999 of your dollars back. But then, of course, you drilled holes in it. So if I were to sell it, I'd have to disclose structural damage. So that's probably 20%. So let's call it 80. On the Countach, it's the 25th anniversary, not the most desirable one, but, for the sake of fairness, how about $150, 150 grand on that one. Now, this silver 1997 Lamborghini Diablo Roadster, that is the ticket. I think those are headed to the moon. That specific year, that specific color, if I were you, I wouldn't let it go for less than $400,000 or $500,000. That's what I'd say.
Well, I got some decent offers and some not so decent offers, typical Ed, but now we're going to find out what Carmax has to say about my Lamborghini hoopty fleet. John Ross, you got your money out.
I don't have any money on it.
Yeah, you're about as broke as me because you just bought that building. Watch JR Go, the biggest automotive building in all of YouTube. Yes?
That's it.
Yes, and you are making a really bad decision, but you're going to have some money soon, right?
Yes, I'm selling my Hellcat on Cars and Bids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daddy Doug. Do Elliot proud, yes?
Bid early, bid often,
And then you're Mike, you're going to help us with some rolling shots, yes?
Yep.
And your narcoleptic customs?
Yep, and we're doing rolling shots in the Narcs cart.
I see. Okay, so that's actually the name. It's not like Urination Bob, it's Euro-Asian Bob. That's actually, okay, that's the name. All right, you take the Diablo, yes?
Yeah. Matches my outfit.
Very nice. You're a little shorter, which is good because that's tight. You can take the Countach,
All right.
and I'll get an Old Faithful here, the Mercy.
Cool.
Let's roll.
Okay.
I'm just absolutely thrilled that all three of them started and are moving under their own power. But on the way to Carmax is a little tunnel, which of course we have to go through, of course. And just look at this. All right, so I am back with the Carmax offers right here. It took several hours for them to put this together because it took a lot of research. They don't have a bunch of comps in their computer systems of these Lamborghinis, especially the rarer ones, so I actually came back later. We left Carmax, went to Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers, gonna plug there, had some lunch, and then I eventually picked these up. Now, Carmax has changed a lot post-COVID. I didn't realize how much they had changed because I had to go out there with them, with the cars, and they kind of ask a bunch of questions. They don't touch the cars or test drive them like they normally do because they don't want to touch other people's things. So I'm the one opening up the cars, answering the questions, starting them up. They point out paintwork and all those things as you go. But one thing that did pop up is a massive leak on the Diablo coming from the front end. Either from the power steering or the front shocks, which are hydraulic controlled because it has the axle lift. So that's new, but they were very thorough and very nice. Of course, Carmax is always the nicest with this, but their numbers, well, their numbers aren't very good. They're better than Ed Bolian's, though. Other than the Diablo, I don't know, he's got something cooking there, obviously, but he made his not so serious, surely negotiated lowball offers on the Murcielago. I think he offered 80 grand. Carmax came back on my Murcielago at $88,000. $88,000. Apparently, there's a lot of paintwork on this car that isn't Lamborghini quality. I have no idea what they were talking about there, but $88,000, which is a lot less than what I have into it. Now, the other cars, their offers were a lot more than what I have into them, which I knew I bought the cars well, but I didn't realize that I bought them that well. So now the Diablo, they offered $133,000 on the Diablo, which it's a solid offer, I suppose, because the thing's been sitting for a long time. But usually, I mean, I haven't seen one of these advertised for less than $200,000 in a very, very long time, so this is obviously a wholesale value. Carmax is not going to put something like this on their lot. They don't keep anything that's over 10 years old, so what they're doing is they're checking with wholesalers to give them an offer, and then they're giving themselves a little bit of meat on the bone to make money, or if something happens like the engine blows up as they drive it to the auction, then they've got some coverage. So $133,000, not bad, but not great. Now the Countach, I was quite surprised how much they stepped up on the Countach. This is another car that I haven't seen advertised for under $225, $250 or so in a very long time. One that runs and drives and is as clean as this obviously can go for a lot more. But Carmax offered $182,000. $182,000 on the Countach, which is actually pretty good. And I'm probably the first person in history that stands a chance of making tens of thousands of dollars selling my cars to Carmax. Not the Murcielago, obviously, but the other two. Because the eccentric doctor that sold me these cars, he priced them at a price that he paid, well, for them 10 years ago, actually a little bit more on both. And I was happy to pay it. I didn't negotiate on the price. I just wrote him a check. I haven't disclosed that number yet, but I don't think I will. Now, there is one more place that I went to check on for a price, and that's John Tamarian at Curated. He has a fancy Lamborghini dealership in Florida specializing in these, so let's see what he has to say.
What's up, guys? So Tyler reached out to me yesterday about potentially selling his Murcielago, his Diablo Roadster, and his Countach. And I don't know if you know us, I'm John Tamarian from Curated TV, and we are Curated. But over the past probably 5 years, we've sold, I would say, 70, 80 Diablo examples and probably 60, 65 Countach examples. So we love these cars. I grew up around them. My father was an early Lamborghini mechanic and actually has been around Muras and Countaches, so I know these cars pretty well. Hoovy sent me all the details. Yes, the cars need some service work. And I have to say, the Countach is really nice. The Diablo is a good example. His Murcielago, I'm not so crazy about. I think he put a hole in the body or the transmission. Anyways, I was offering basically $100,000 on his Murcielago. I was going to offer $200,000 on the Countach and probably $175,000 on the Diablo. I think each car is going to need about $10,000, $15,000 in service work just because they've had deferred maintenance. Not that they don't drive or anything like that. Cosmetically, the Countach is really, really nice. I think the Diablo just needs a correct head unit. Everything here is very original, and we love original Alpine radios, exhaust, whatever it may be. And the Murcielago, honestly, I'll probably just wholesale it. It's not something I'm going to keep. But thank you for Tyler for the opportunity, and hopefully you can see those cars, not the Murcielago, but the other two at Curated very soon.
Okay, well, obviously the whole world knows when you put something on YouTube that you drill holes into a Lamborghini. Everybody's going to know that, so that was a very low offer. But the other two cars, 200 and 175, that's $375,000. Really? Really? Well, this may not be the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, except I don't want to sell the cars, I just wanted an appraisal. And clearly there's some issues with these cars, so next we're going to head up to the Car Wizard. We're going to do a thorough once-over on the Diablo and the Countach and see everything that's wrong with them, and then I guess I can make a final decision. Will I keep both? Will I sell one? Will I sell both? And, oh my God. Thank you for watching.